Business and Bourbon. I am just geeked up because this guy is part of the fabric of our city of Atlanta.
Ron Burgundy. Black Ron Burgundy. We had a guest one time show up, wanted to make quesadillas and didn't have any cheese, right? And I'm like, I don't have any cheese. Entrepreneurship will humble you in a hurry.
Oh my God, will it? You are a very deep, complicated brother, man. I'm going to tell you that right now.
If you're not telling your brand story and you're not talking about you, shamelessly self-promoting yourself, no one else is either.
There you go.
That's Mark. He got money. He'll do it for free. Right?
Yeah.
That's Mark. He used to be on TV. Well, Mark doesn't get a check every 2 weeks anymore. Catch their attention, but then you offer something of value to keep them.
There it is. Welcome to Season 2 of Business and Bourbon. I'm Ronell Richards, the creator and your host. Well, we took a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back and we're ready to kick some ass. Hope you guys are ready. What can you expect out of Season 2? Well, you can expect more of what you enjoyed in Season 1. Business professionals and entrepreneurs coming onto our platform, sharing some drinks, hanging out, and sharing some real talk. That's what Business and Bourbon is about. You see, what we're on a mission to do is to combat entrepreneur porn. What is that? That's all of that imagery that we see out there. That BS sets us up for failure, not for success. You see, on Business and Bourbon, you can expect entrepreneurs like myself that have been there, that have done that. And we're going to share our real stories. We're going to be honest. We're going to be a little bit vulnerable. Why? Because we want to help you win. You can only win if you truly understand what it is that you're up against. And that's what we're about at Business and Bourbon. So, Season 2's first guest is Mr. Mark Hayes. I'm super excited to have him on the platform. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode. He's our own personal, I call him Ron Burgundy. Yeah, he's the Ron Burgundy of the Atlanta news scene and beyond. He's been in a lot of different cities, but he's transitioned to entrepreneurship. That's a lot. That's a big deal. After 30 years in journalism, he's become an entrepreneur. So I wanted him to share a story. I wanted him to share his journey as a journalist and anchorman, but I also wanted him to come on and talk to us about what that transition has been like to entrepreneurship. So with that said, I want you to grab your glass, grab your cup, grab your mug, grab whatever it is. Hey, maybe you got a Yeti. Grab your Yeti, whatever it is that you like to drink out of. Pour your favorite beverage in there and enjoy a little Business and Bourbon. All right, folks, you are back with Ronell and Business and Bourbon. Man, another beautiful day. I know I feel like I'm saying this every time I start the podcast, but it is. Every time we do a podcast, we're in beautiful Atlanta at the King and Duke. And shout out to you guys out there that have been stopping in the King and Duke and giving your love, because I'm getting direct messages. I'm getting some messages from the King and Duke management that's telling me, hey, look, we've had some folks come in. They say they've listened to the podcast and they have enjoyed their meals, enjoyed their drinks, because it's legit. It's definitely where you want to be. So shout out to King and Duke, and you folks that are out there that are coming in and supporting them. With that said, I'm not going to build up today because I got a guy. Man, if y'all could see me right now, this is bad radio, but if y'all could see me right now, I am just geeked up because this guy is part of the fabric of our city of Atlanta and part of the fabric of, dare I say, my life. Wow, that sounds weird to say. I just creeped him out too. But I got Mark Hayes in the house with me today. Mark, what's going on?
Oh, it's all good in the hood.
You good?
Oh, I'm good. Blessed.
So before we kind of get in, I want to make sure that people understand the man, the myth, the legend that's sitting over here next to me, Mr. Mark Hayes, and kind of know a little bit about what he's done and what he's about. Before we get into what you're about, because you are a very deep, complicated brother, man. I'm going to tell you that right now. And you guys are in for a treat. But before we get in there, let's give him a little background. Who's Mark Hayes?
So Mark Hayes is a passionate storyteller, a journalist by trade, 28 years in the trenches, telling great stories, meeting amazing people, and trying to help folks communicate from a place of love and understanding now. That's my entrepreneurial journey. But I was a journalist, never a regret about pursuing that business, even though I dragged my poor family from city to city to city to city. But I loved what I did for almost 3 decades and woke up in the morning and was excited about what was coming our way.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds maybe possibly perverse because of all the sorrow that we wallow in for profit as journalists and as television news broadcasters. But I met just as many amazing people as I did people that, I just felt their pain and felt their heartache. Mm-hmm. But there were people out there that made my day, that made my life. There were people that we got to interview that were, bucket list people, that you would want to talk. Denzel Washington, for example, Will Smith, Gordon Ramsay, John McCain, just so many people that when you talk to, when you sit, in a person's personal space, you really get to look into their eyes and see what they're made of. Yeah. And that changes your perspective on what you thought you knew about them a lot of times. Yeah. Man, it was some of the most amazing experiences and opportunities of my lifetime.
So back 28 years, right?
Yes.
28 years broadcasting. Here in Atlanta, you were anchor for Fox 5.
Yes.
And you were in what cities? What else?
A full decade here in Fox 5, but I was started in Albany, Georgia. I worked in Secaucus, New Jersey at NBA Entertainment. I worked in Rochester, New York, Denver, Colorado, Baltimore, Maryland, by the way. So for all my folks from the DMV, I know it's Maryland.
For all the DMV folks, what do you do?
Right.
What it is? Shout out. You guys know I love you guys.
Yeah. And so we worked in Detroit. Then we came to Atlanta, Dallas, and Cincinnati.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've been around the mulberry bush a time or two.
Okay. So you guys know, you've got Ron Burgundy out there, and Mark is our Ron Burgundy. We're gonna go Ron
Burgundy, Black Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. No, Mark was here in Atlanta for a decade and killing it. Part of the fabric of our city and part of the vibe, and really for my family, we woke up to Mark and Suchita. Shout out to Suchita, wherever you at.
No doubt.
Suchita. Happily married man. Now, but if I wasn't and Suchita was she married a baller from what I understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Are you surprised?
I'm getting in. No, not at all. I'm getting in trouble. I'm going to leave that alone. But as I was saying, you're part of the fabric of the city. And so for me, it's really super cool to be sitting across the table from you and enjoying drinks, man. Which, by the way, what are you drinking?
So I got Absolute and soda. So it's part of my continuous journey, this reawakening that I've had. I was in the doctor's office in December of last year, and he said, look, if you want to be type 2 diabetic, keep doing what you're doing. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. He said, oh, well, make a change.
There it is.
I said, okay. So I lost 40 pounds.
Wow. And you look great.
Thank you. I appreciate you. But I did it through the help of a man named Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. I met him in February right here in Buckhead at a Super Bowl event that I was hosting. He gave me his book, The Success Principles, and I highly recommend it.
Say that again, the Success
Principles.
Okay.
How to get from where you are to where you want to be. And I wanted to be slimmer, trimmer, and more healthy. I'm sleeping better than I have in years.
So what was that about? Because I think that's something that, all of us can benefit from.
Right. It's about taking 100% accountability and responsibility for your life and every action that you take. He makes you look in the mirror and say, what are you pretending not to know? Right? Why are you holding yourself back? What are these limiting beliefs that are holding you back? Why aren't you leaning into it and taking action? Yeah. You know what you're supposed to be doing with your finances, with your health, with your relationships. Why aren't you doing them?
Yeah.
And he simply puts the question to you and makes you answer it. And when you start doing those things and you start looking at yourself and saying, okay, it's either put up or shut up, right? Either I'm going to be accountable or I'm not going to be accountable. Either I want to be successful or I don't.
That's it.
And that's the bottom line.
So tell me how why that matters to your vodka and soda over there.
Because there's no calories in that soda.
There it
is. So I did the keto diet. Like any diet will work, right? But are you committed?
Discipline.
Right? Do you have the discipline? So I get up every morning. I start my day now with prayer, meditation, affirmation, and exercise. And 40 pounds later, I'm still enjoying that regimen, that routine, and then getting into the foxhole and trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur.
So that's where we're going to go because, what I find so fascinating is you've had such a successful career as a journalist and broadcaster. And there are a lot of folks out there that are listening that are what we call like mid-career, right? Where we've gone out, we've done our thing, we've been successful in corporate, and they don't feel fulfilled anymore. Like, I want to go start a business. I want to get into entrepreneurship. And I want you to share with the audience your journey and what's that been like for you. And I imagine even that much more unique because you're such a high-profile personality too. So I don't know what that's been like for you. So
it quite possibly could be part of, quote unquote, the problem, right? When you're trying to make a transition as a public figure in a city where people know and relate to you, like, I'll run into people in the airport, they'll start talking to me and I'm trying to figure out if I know them from high school or, where we went to college together, right? So it can definitely work to both your advantage and disadvantage as a known commodity and as people who assume, that's Mark. He got money. He'll do it for free. Right? That's Mark. He used to be on TV. Well, Mark doesn't get a check every 2 weeks anymore. I only eat what I kill.
Yeah.
And the thing about entrepreneurship, and I think you can relate as a serial entrepreneur, is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And entrepreneurship will humble you in a hurry.
Oh my God, will it?
In a hurry. Because all of a sudden now you've got, 3 mouths or 4 mouths, depending on you, right? Nothing has changed. The dynamic hasn't changed, right? You've still been the breadwinner and you're still expected to be the breadwinner. So you have to figure out what you do, what your lane is, what your sweet spot is, and why people need your services. And if you can't do that in a hurry, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And you've got to be able to say, hey, I don't know what I don't know. I need some help. And I've been able to do that because this is new for me.
Something I want to add to that too, Mark, that's kind of the beauty of what we're able to do through social media and specifically LinkedIn. I'm going to call everyone that's listening to this, I'm calling you out right now. Be active on LinkedIn. Mark and I are sitting here because of LinkedIn.
Right.
I'm sure Mark has social media. He's got Instagram. He's got Facebook. He's got all these other things. Here's what happens with those platforms. Largely people that are either high profile because of their celebrities or because just in business or whatever, they're not managing that stuff and they don't take it that seriously.
Right.
So go ahead and reach out to them if you want. And if you're lucky, you might get a response from the person in Bangladesh that manages it for them, right? But in LinkedIn, you can connect with people and do business with people. Mark, I connected with Mark over LinkedIn, and we're in the same city,
right?
And I'm sure we know some of the same people,
right?
But it would have taken more,
right?
And so I connect with lots of people that you would think are unreachable. Even people think that I'm unreachable, but if you direct message me, I'm going to message you back,
right?
As long as you're professional and you're respectful, I'll message you back. Maybe we'll do business, maybe we won't. So I want to encourage people out there to really take advantage of this fantastic tool to grow your network and to grow your business through your business relationships.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. So sorry, but I was just thinking as you were saying that, and it was so poignant, I wanted to make sure that we did not miss that point. So back to you. Back to you. You know what the funny thing is, Mark? I wanted to be on the TV when I was a kid.
Did you really?
I wanted to be Mark Hayes. Except in Utah, there were no Mark Hayes. It was probably like, I don't know, Chris Gustafson or something.
I've actually seen television in Utah, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know what they're doing with Utah news, though, because, they bring in the most beautiful people. Have you noticed?
Yes, they do pick some winners. Yes, they do. And they stick around.
They do.
They stick around.
And so, I had passing desire to be on either the radio or television. I've always thought I've had a face for television.
Right.
So
I ain't mad at you. Got to be confident in this world. We only go around once.
But I've got mad respect for the talent that it takes to do
thank
that.
you.
Like, we were talking in off air about not everyone can't do that. Everyone can't do this. Just like entrepreneurship, it's
Right.
not for everyone.
Right.
Know what your strengths and weaknesses are. No,
Please.
and be okay with that.
Right.
Play to your strengths. And, it may not be the entrepreneurship, traditional entrepreneurship may not be the thing for you. Maybe you stay in a corporate gig and you do it part-time, or you
Nothing
do a
wrong with
franchise,
that.
whatever. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And no shame. I was actually speaking to someone earlier today, and she's an entrepreneur, and she's a part-time entrepreneur. She's got a corporate job. And she was like, well, yeah, but I still have the job. And hey, no shame in that. Pay your bills.
Right. Right.
No shame.
It's a good feeling at the end of the month.
Hell yeah. All right. So moving on, 28 years, you've moved into entrepreneurship. Let's talk a little bit about what it is that you're doing out there before we get into what that transition's been like.
Sure.
What are you doing?
So media placement is my specialty right now. So what I'm doing is helping brands and companies, CEOs, C-suiters get media ready, find them a placement, find them the proper outlet for their message and for their audience, and train them up, get them ready to go on TV, get them ready to be awesome, and get them ready to deliver their message and understand how it works, right? Get them ready for all the little stuff. For example, I had a client meeting this morning, and I explained to her why it's important you get to your interview or podcast or whatever it is in plenty of time so that you're relaxed and focused, right?
Whoa. Hold on. Practice what you preach.
Hello.
Mark beat me today. He was here waiting for me.
Good Day Atlanta was a perfect case study for me because I saw people dashing in at the last minute trying to get, a little bit of makeup thrown on them and then sit down and be like, now what are we talking about?
Yeah.
No, you've got a free 3 minutes and 30 seconds here to sell your widget.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready.
Yes.
Be prepared because it's all in the prep, right? By the time you sit down, it's too late, right? When the lights come on, I'm reading that intro and I'm going to ask you what you're doing, what you're selling. And if you don't have those message points down, right? You can't tell me you don't know, right? You just wasted our time. What a lot of folks don't understand is we're not going to call you back. We're not going to invite you back because you weren't ready, right? When you come in and you're prepared or your people show up and they've got your recipe. We had a guest one time show up, wanted to make quesadillas and didn't have any cheese, right? And I'm like, I don't have any cheese. And if I do have cheese, you probably don't want it because it's been in that workman's fridge that we put our lunch boxes in, right? You don't want that cheese, right? And why do you not have cheese? You're a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
Come on now. So you've got to be prepared. You've got to do the work in advance. You've got to have a clear, concise, and defined message. And I help companies and brands do that. I'm also helping them tell their brand story. What do you stand for? What's your why? What's your passion behind it? And helping them create the content. So it's markhayesconsulting.com. One of the lessons that I'm learning is how pivotal and important your website is. So we're in the middle of a redesign. So I just feel like this is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
I can help people tell their story, help them organize their thoughts, and help them understand why it's so. First of all, if you're not telling your brand story and you're not talking about you, shamelessly self-promoting yourself, no one else is either.
There you go.
No one else is either. And if you look at Instagram and you look at some of the people that are great followers, besides yourself, because your branding is on point. That's what drew me.
Thank you, sir.
To you. That's how, I was like, wait a minute, check this out. All right. And so, if you can't catch people's attention, number one, but then provide quality content to keep them.
There it is.
Right?
There it is.
You catch their attention, but then you offer something of value to keep them.
There it is.
And so I help you create that content to keep your folks coming back.
I love that. So before we continue, I want to reiterate those three valid points you made. The first one being where you talk about preparation.
Right.
You saw this firsthand. And I'm sure that you would agree that the prepared, ready to go person is a rarity.
Right.
And it's a shame,
Right.
but it is what it is. But what does that say to you guys is that's an opportunity.
Yes.
I don't care if you're showing up to be on Mark's show or you're showing up for a job interview.
Right.
Preparation.
It's everything.
And this is what I've trained salespeople on this for years, like the importance of, if I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to talk to you and I want to sell you my product, let me spend a half an hour, 15 minutes finding out who you are. When you sit down, when I sit down across from you, I'm going to tell you about you. Right. I'm going to tell you who you are. I don't need you to tell me. I already know things.
Right.
That's what we need to do. So that preparation piece is
critical.
Super important.
It's critical.
Man. And I love that. And the branding piece, I love that as well. So, I think that taking control of the brand, being consistent in the brand, and you mentioned website, and you guys are working on a redesign of your website. And I challenge folks a little bit on the websites. Like, we got to keep evolving, right? So like 15 years ago, having the super dope website was amazing, right? And it probably was effective. Now, not so much. It's about simplicity and providing, as you said, value. So you go ahead and do your marketing piece so that you get people interested, right? Okay, you've got some interest in me. But now once I bring you in, you better have something to back it up.
It's the functionality. Yep.
There it
and
is.
the value.
Yes. Yep. So I like to think that now that Mark has been on the podcast, he's like, this dude, he's the real deal. Mark, you think you can call up Fox 5 and get me in? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man. I know somebody that knows somebody.
So, Mark, you're from New York, New York.
Yeah, man.
Right?
City so nice, they named it twice.
And I understand that you're a Biggie fan.
Yo, man, I'm East Coast hip hop all the way.
I love it.
From the very beginning. See, I'm a lot older than I look.
Yeah.
So I go back, to the origins of hip hop, to the very beginning, setting my alarm clock to get up in the middle of the night and listen to Mr. Magic's Rap Attack. And, Spoonie G and the Cold Crush Brothers and getting my
the
first
guys that
cassette.
rap like this.
Yes, and the harmonizing and and now I sound like my dad because when I talk to my sons, because I'm like, man, y'all don't know what real hip hop is. Back in the day, we used to come in, we had a Kango on, we have our mock necks, our Shirling, our British Walkers, we had our sewn in pleats in the jeans.
Yes.
We was all about neatness. Now what are you guys doing? You got your pants hanging down and all that. I'm like,
don't do it. You don't do it. You just went full dad right there.
100% dad mode.
Hanging on down and
pull your pants up. But
now I don't even know. Like it's all over the place. Well, first of all, I will say that I love the hip hop scene today just because of its diversity.
Yeah.
Like, when I was coming up, when you were coming up, it was our music, right? It was us. That was our music. And now to see these artists that look vastly different and are all over the place. And some of them, whether it's, I wish I had my son right here. He going, my 17-year-old, he drops some of those names. But whether
Migos,
it's the guys that, whether it's Migos or whether it's
hot right now,
or Kendrick, who I love, like they're all.
I love Kendrick Lamar. Did you see him on Power? He was killing the game on Power. Yes.
What?
Did he play that part on Power?
By the way, if y'all don't watch Power,
so what are you doing with your life?
My God.
What are you doing with your life?
My son would say, kill yourself.
Right. Right now.
Oh, my God. Yes, Kendrick killed the game on Power.
He play that part?
Yes.
And so, not to be all, I did this and that, but Omari Hardwick was one of the most humble people I've ever interviewed.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Interviewed him.
So for those that don't know, he plays the character of Ghost, the main character of Power.
And I saw him back in 2014. We were at the Black Journalist Conference in Boston. And he ran over to me, gave me a hug, and I pounded him up. And he's such a good dude. He's from right here.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah. He's from the deck.
I didn't know that because I saw him in the beauty shop last week. We were watching the beauty shop with Queen Latifah, and there he was.
He had a ton of roles. But, he's from Decatur, played football
at UGA. He's short, right?
He's like 6 foot, 5'11".
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But just a good human being, man. Just a real salt of the earth. He didn't show up with an entourage or anything, and he could have. I mean, but, just an even keel, good dude, man. I'm always cheering for those kinds.
So am I.
Always cheering for those guys who make it he played in the NFL too. I mean, like
Did he really?
Yeah, not like he hadn't had enough success in his life.
Yeah.
Born looking like that.
Yeah, he's not having any issues.
No,
in
not
that
at all. And he is ripped.
Yeah.
And so he's got amazing genes, but just a salt of the earth human being that you can cheer for and wish him well and enjoy his success with him.
It's always awesome to know and to run into those type of folks. Here in Atlanta, it's like 3 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Right? There's no 7 degrees. It's 3 degrees of separation. For you, it's like a half a degree, like just because of your profession.
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine. Now, we're not gonna put anybody on the spot because I can't
Right.
have anybody mad at Mark because Mark called him out on the podcast. But yeah, who are a couple of those people that you've had the pleasure to meet and to maybe have a drink with that have just really surprised you as being really cool
I'll
in
tell
that celebrity
you,
world?
probably the most recognizable name who I socialized with from time to time was Usher. And just a humble, regular dude. But, when you're around him and you're just having a drink and enjoying a social event or whatever, working for his foundation, just kind of Usher.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see him, maybe on television or on the world stage. You're like, oh, wow, I forgot. He's that kind of huge.
Yeah.
And so, Usher was huge, big boy.
Yeah.
I mean, just another.
The Mr. ATL.
Yeah, man. One of the salt of the earth guys. Super cool. I met him and I thought I was like his homie from back in the day.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he embraced me.
You ever
and
thought it was
treated me.
funny that his moniker is Big Boy and he's not big? like, bro, what is he? 5'8", 5'9"?
Right. But he's big in stature though.
There it is.
With his music, and he is ATL culture.
Yes.
Right.
No
he
question.
is ATL. He doesn't walk around. He doesn't put it in your face. And he's a dad. And if you ever
I saw
see
his
him
son.
promote-
His
is
son is
beast
going
mode.
to
Going to
USC,
Oregon,
I think.
Oregon,
Oregon, that's
yeah.
what.
Yeah, and he can run the rock too.
Really.
Oh man,
You played a little ball too, didn't you?
Yeah, back in the day. It was a long time ago. I don't think I got 3 and out left in me. but that
Maybe
was way
one.
back
Just
when.
one.
Yeah.
Get one. Get one carry.
I come in and set the edge. But yeah, his son is really, really talented.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of folks like that around Atlanta. Bob Whitfield is another amazing guy. Jamal Anderson, is another guy I always pull for and got to
I pull
social.
for that guy too. He's got the Utah connection.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
and-
One of the Utes.
Yes, and I like that. We all have our challenges and struggles.
Sure.
The bigger of a celebrity you are, the more they're out
Yep.
front for everyone to see. But we've all got them.
Yep.
I root for a guy that's had things and comes back from it.
Yeah.
Doesn't hide from it.
Nope.
Fights it, and he's done that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's talented
And,
too
yeah,
as a broadcaster, though.
I'm telling you what, he's really good on television. If he can put all the
not as good
stars
as
in
me. I'm
order.
just kidding.
But
just
he
kidding.
does a really nice job with his analysis. Yeah, I would love to see him in a full-time role on somebody's network.
Yeah.
Because he knows what he's talking about. And remember, back in the day, he could run that rock.
Man, I'm
He
telling
could
you,
run that
Jam.
rock. Yeah, man. And he did that Dirty Bird,
Mm-hmm.
and changed the culture down here
Did.
in terms of what we expected from the Falcons. Keith Brooking was another one.
Oh, yeah.
Keith Brooking.
He seems like a real humble guy. Okay,
Yeah.
audience, I'm sorry, we got real regional on you. We're going to bring it back. What was Denzel like?
Denzel was so cool.
Yeah.
Denzel was
Everybody
one of the coolest
knows Denzel.
people. Yeah, man, one of the coolest. You know who else was super cool though?
Who?
George Clooney.
I could see that.
George Clooney was like, he's a
You know how I
man's
know he's super
man.
cool? Because he gave 12 of his best friends like $1 million in a
Yeah.
briefcase.
Like, here you go. Yeah, here you go.
Who does that?
Right. Nobody I know.
Yes. I need to know somebody.
Right.
Like, I am auditioning friends right now. So if y'all, matter of fact, I don't even $1 million in a briefcase. You can give me a briefcase with, I don't know, $10,000 in a pair of Jordans.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
I'll
And I'm
take
good.
that.
We're good.
I will take that. All
But
right.
George Clooney was super cool, super nice. But I'll tell you who I probably learned the most from about their celebrity and having that celebrity work for you because that's what you do, and that's Will Smith.
Thank you for listening to the Business and Bourbon podcast. Please subscribe. And if you like us, give us a 5-star rating. If you don't, have another drink. Maybe you'll feel a little bit differently. If you'd like to check out our videos, you can go to businessandbourbon.tv. That's businessandbourbon.tv. In addition to that, we're currently touring the United States with our Business and Bourbon live show. It's a fantastic show where we do whiskey education and we do some Q&A, and it's a great networking event as well. So if you'd like to attend one of our Business and Bourbon live events, you can go to businessandbourbon.live. Again, that's businessandbourbon.live. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you the next time.